You see there we have our first race getting set up on the starting line. Conditions are fair this afternoon. We're going to have a spot of rain showers throughout the day. We're going to try and keep the drone up in the air as much as possible as the rain comes down. And you see we are off and underway in our first race of the day.
Yeah, and this women's single is going to be, I think, a pretty much of a barn burner for one. It's going to be interesting to see what Oklahoma City does. In lane 3, and she's had a amazing sort of setup so far, like a blazing fast time trial. I think it was 7:50, which was more than definitely like 30 seconds ahead of her competitors.
Yeah, just about 40 seconds. In fact, it was 38 in front of Gordon there, who's going to be in lane 4. So we'll bring you the lineups here. In lane 1, we have Dominican. Lane 2, Carnegie Mellon. 3 is Oklahoma City. In lane 4 is Gordon. In lane 5, LaSalle. And in lane 6 is Clarkson. So interesting start here. That Gordon athlete really trying to jump the start.
Yep.
They know they have a lot of ground to make up on the Oklahoma City rower. So the coach and the rower probably devised this race plan to get out to a quick start and hold on for dear life.
Yeah, and already it looks like the Oklahoma City athlete is starting to reel that Gordon rower back in. And so the question is whether or not that start was enough. I'm pretty sure the Oklahoma City rower is rowing a little bit into the buoys right here. So we'll see if that has any effect on. She's corrected her course right there a little bit, but she's starting to draw even, and you can tell some things by the first 500 meters of the race, but it's still a 2,000-meter race.
Yeah. So as you see there, as the Oklahoma City rower continues to walk through the rower from Gordon, a trend that will likely continue throughout this race. As we said, there was a time trial yesterday. There were 8 boats in this event. The top 6 moving on to the final. We saw the second final earlier this morning between American and Bryn Mawr, but they finished with Oklahoma City at 7:50, Gordon at 8:28, Carnegie Mellon 8:46, LaSalle 8:48. Dominican 8:50, and then Clarkson at 9:53. So expect that Clarkson crew to kind of bring up the rear here in this grand final for the Dave McCormick Trophy, the Women's Open Collegiate Single Grand Final, our first grand final of the afternoon.
Yeah, and this is it. This is for the hardware. This is for the podium. The athletes have raced hard over the past 2 days, and now this is the culmination of all of their hard work, not only for this regatta, but for some athletes for the year. This may be the last race for them.
So an interesting little thing going on here in this Oklahoma City boat. We have a reverse rigger in this single. It's something you don't often see. What's going on there?
In the bigger boat. So yeah, so right now you have, this is the wing, it's a wing rigger, actually formulated by, I think, Bob Nagard, but one of our regatta luminaries. Yeah. But right here you see that wing is in the back. That's so that they can, that's been something that's changed in the single. Over the past 20 years, you see more of those.
Yeah, so again, a really nice isolation shot of the Oklahoma City rower on the top left. In the bottom right-hand screen, we have a nice drone shot. Again, we're going to try and give you as much drone coverage as we can today. We have a camera up at around the 500 meters on a scissor lift. The camera you're seeing in the top left there is here at the Camden County Boathouse. We have another stationary camera at the finish line to make sure you can see all the action to the finish. And then we'll have drone coverage throughout each race to give you a full picture of what's going on.
Yeah, and you can see here, despite that blazing fast start by the rower from Gordon, a time trial with almost a 40-second difference is going to be hard to overcome. So I think it was a valiant effort, but the athlete from the rower from Oklahoma City is really sort of showing why there was a 40-second difference in that time trial.
And this is an impressive race from this rower. I wouldn't be shocked to see her continue her season and have success doing so. This is a really impressive race so far.
Yeah, I really like the confidence that she's displaying here. You know, in that first 500, she wasn't rattled by the fact that there was someone out ahead of her. You can see here the rower from Gordon is actually striking a bit of a lower rating than the rower from Oklahoma City. She's confident in her stroke. She's really sending the boat. Her finishes look strong, really getting past those puddles. It's really a great display of oarsmanship.
Yeah, and we see here just a nice shot showing you the puddles and the line created by the Oklahoma City rower with a really straight line. Not always the easiest thing to do in a single. It means she's applying pressure really evenly with both her port and her starboard oar. An experienced sculler, to say the least.
Yeah, she was caught up in those buoys a little bit at the beginning, you know, but that can sometimes happen. Like when you're out of the start, you may not have your point set up just how you want it coming out of those blocks. But now we can see sort of how those differences from the time trial are really showing us sort of how the race is going to unfold.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like she's letting up at all, maintaining that pretty high stroke rate here in the single. She's going to go just about 500 meters left to go now for her. She's approaching that 500-meter buoy, and you know she'll probably put on a sprint. You know, this race is an important race here. This Dave McCormick Trophy. She's going to want to put up a really impressive time here for herself. Even though she doesn't have any competitors around her, you know, she's competing against herself out there at the moment.
Yeah, rolling into that last 500 meters at 36 strokes per minute. It'll be interesting to see if she takes it up, sort of winds it up in that last 250 or even before. I really like the fact that she stayed with her race plan. She seems to be executing well and just rowing away from the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, so her time in the time trial yesterday was 7 minutes and 50 seconds, an impressive time in the single, to say the least. And we'll see if she can best that here in this grand final from a stop start from the stake boat.
Maintaining that 36. Looks like she might have brought it up just a tad here. You know, it's kind of tough. Athletes have different strategies. They know themselves. Can I sprint for 300 meters? Can I sprint for 400 meters? So right here, I think it's her against the clock. You know, as a single sculler, you know your times. You know what your best is. And so right now, the question is, you know, is she going to try to hit a PR? Are these conditions for her to row a personal best?
Yeah, so as we said, the slight drizzle out there on the course, it's coming and going. It's slightly humid today, right around 73 to 75 degrees will probably be the warmest it gets. So not the worst conditions, potentially a little muggy out there and a little bit of rain, but you know, definitely nice conditions temperature-wise to keep your body regulated.
Yeah, and you can see she's shortened up the slide just a little bit. She's taken the rate up to about a 40, and she is taking it home right here. You can see nice, strong finishes. With each stroke, she's pulling herself closer to that finish line, really saying to herself, like, I've got this race. And it's really impressive to see athletes that can compete alone by themselves and push themselves even when there's no competitors around.
So this is Ruthie Lacey here from Oklahoma City. Ruthie Lacey will win the Dave McCormick Trophy at the Vail Regatta, coming in first in the women's open collegiate single. A really great race there from Ruthie.
Yeah, fine fashion. She won it, wasn't rattled off the start, stuck to her game plan, and knew that she was strong enough to put in a great race.
Yeah, and so we'll see here how it finishes in second and third. Looked like Carnegie Mellon had come back a little bit out of lane 2 on the Gordon rower as well. That's Estee Goel for Carnegie Mellon. Lucia Hopkins, though, from Gordon will cross in second place and take home the silver. And we'll wait here and see who will take home the bronze in this event. And it will be lane 1. Lane 1 there is Dominican, the rower from Dominican, Miss Long, crossing for the bronze in the women's open collegiate single grand final.
Yeah, and you know, as you know, you don't want to read too much into time trials, but that one surely sort of unraveled as we would have expected, given the large distance that that Oklahoma City was able to put on the rest of the field.
Yeah, and then it looked like LaSalle followed by Carnegie Mellon there. And likely we'll get the Clarkson rower coming in